Hey, it's Chris Doucher for GeekNerdNet.com. I am at the 2024 Fan Expo San Francisco, and really excited to be joined by Heather Antos, Group Editor at IDW. Hello.
Hello.
And also artist, of course, co-creator of Gwenpool and co-creator of Dr. Aphra, correct?
That's me.
Yay, and we're done. Thanks a lot.
Woo, awesome.
Oh, man, we nailed that. Happy Sunday. So, I want to actually start where most people start, Taylor Swift. So you and I were chatting on the day 2 of the show. It is now day 3. But, and obviously I was looking at all your work, and all your work is fantastic. But of course I was looking for something for my daughter.
Yeah.
And you have all these amazing Taylor Swift prints.
Yeah.
Obviously that comes through a fandom and comes through popularity and everything else. And your pieces are so, very much in your style, obviously. I guess just talk about how you decided, screw it, I'm just going to do this and I love it and why not?
Yeah, I mean, it all started probably about a year ago, so maybe a little bit longer. I just was looking for a new fan art piece to draw, and we had just watched the Eras Tour movie had just hit streaming and all of that stuff. So I was like, screw it, I drew the Lover piece. If that means anything to anyone listening to this, probably not. But
it's actually my entire audience. So,
oh,
yeah.
Well, great, awesome, perfect. A lot of Comic-Con Swiftie crossover. But no, so I drew that piece and I posted it, and it got, in part probably because of my Disney-esque style, right? I got a lot of attention, and that you should do a cartoon and use your designs or whatever, which is very flattering. But I just after doing that one, I was like, let me do another one and try and complete the whole set of it all. So it's been a nice fun drawing challenge, and especially too for me, just trying to push and challenge myself as an artist, because I'm still fairly new to drawing, and drawing is still very scary for me, and so it's been a great exercise and trying different body poses and movement and backgrounds, and and luckily, because of the popularity of Taylor and that tour, there's plenty of reference image to go around and play with, and it's been really fun to bring these prints to shows and see people who share in the fandom, and it's been a really cool bonding experience. Yeah.
Nice. Sorry.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you know if Taylor's seen your work?
I don't know if she has specifically, but a couple of the pieces have gotten quite viral, which is
nice.
Always weird. It's always weird to see. But if she has, hi, thank you. Obviously, she listens to this podcast.
I was going to say, obviously she's hearing this.
Obviously.
No, that's awesome. I mean, obviously all your other work too. And, it's interesting to hear you say that, drawing and art is still feels fairly new to you, right? On that note, then, I want to know do you have influencers, do you have mentors, do you have people you look at and go in the business going, you know what, I've really taken from here, or I learned this from, or inspired by?
Yeah, I mean, Pernilla Oram is definitely my favorite artist. If you look at her art and look at my art, it'll be pretty obvious. I get a lot of influence and inspiration from her work, and the simplicity of her character design, really, growing up in the 90s in the golden age of Disney animation, you can see a lot of influence with Tom Bancroft and all of that stuff there too. I'm really into the cell shaded soft animation. I find very, very, very appealing. Yeah.
Nice. Well, shifting gears. Let's talk a little bit of Star Trek, from stars to Star Trek.
Heard of it?
Yeah. It's this little indie, right?
Yeah. Been around for a few years.
Yeah, you're dabbling in it, helping out
a bit.
Yeah. There's a big Star Trek comic event coming out next year. Can you talk a bit about that? Tell us what you can tell us, and go from there.
Yeah. So I don't want to spoil too much, but we have a big event coming out in late March 2025 called Lore War. It is our second crossover event between the flagship Star Trek title by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, as well as Star Trek Defiant by Chris Cantwell. And this event is what we are internally referring to as Star Trek meets House of M and Secret Wars. Oh, cool. Lore, the evil android twin brother of Data, has gotten a hold of one of the Bajoran orbs and has destroyed the universe and has rewritten it in his image at his will. And so Lore is God, and all of our characters are his playthings. And, slowly, one by one, they start to awaken or not, die or not, be brought back to life or not, and have to try and save the universe and fix it and rewrite it. But people who didn't have families suddenly have families. Do they want to give that up? People, dead family members are back. We're seeing a lot of familiar faces that we never thought we'd see before. And it's been really exciting. We're in this alternate universe, so we can bring in characters that would never normally have crossed paths, or, not to spoil too much, but Shax is a bad guy in this. So that's pretty terrifying, because he's pretty terrifying as a good guy. So we're having a lot of fun of it. And we're introducing a new artist to the Star Trek family, Davide Tinto. He's an Italian artist who drew the 10-page Lore War Prelude that was in Star Trek 500 in September. And he is just he makes Lore look so creepy.
Nice.
It's so much fun. We're having a blast.
Nice. I love these spoiler alerts. Or not.
Or not.
We're not.
Or not.
We're not sure yet.
We're not sure.
But how many years in the making has this series been to get to launch?
Yeah. So we originally started talking the overall Star Trek line as it is now in 2021, late 2021. Star Trek number 1 came out in late 22, and the first event was always part of that conversation. It was always, we're going to launch Star Trek, we're going to launch Defiant, and it's going to build to Day of Blood. And when we got to Day of Blood, my challenge next for the guys was, okay, cool, what's next? How do we make Day of Blood look like nothing? Right. And so Lore War has been in the works for about a year and a half now. So yeah, it's everything is going as planned, everything is intentional. That's one of the great things about working on this line of comics is we are getting to tell the story exactly as we've wanted to from the very beginning. We have our endpoints. We've always been working towards it. We know what that is. This isn't a series where it's been you get 6 issues and hope for the best, or you were promised 12, but now you only have 8 and you have to scramble. That's never been the case with that, and I think you can really tell in the product.
That's awesome. I love that. And Lower Decks comic just launched a few weeks ago.
Yes.
I picked that up. Haven't had a chance to read it yet, but how could it not be fun? So I'm looking forward to that. You're working on obviously a ton of titles at a time, given your position and what you do. Talk a bit more about some other properties that you've got kind of your fingerprints on, or
so beyond Star Trek, I also oversee the editorial team that runs the Sonic comics at IDW. We just had a bit of, not really an anniversary, but a monumental 75. We hit Sonic the Hedgehog 75, which is a pretty big deal. We're gearing up in the comics for the release of Sonic 3 with Shadow, which we're really excited about, and doing some specials there to tie into that, which will be coming out soon. I also work on the Monster High comics with Mattel. That's been so much fun. I was a little too old for Monster High dolls when they came out, so it's been really fun to get into that universe. If you're a fan of puns, I highly recommend checking out the series, because oh my god, there's 27 puns per sentence. It's a very punny book, but it's very Gossip Girl meets Universal Monsters is how I describe that series. And then most recently announced at New York Comic Con this year, IDW partnered with Paramount for some of their horror properties. So we're developing new titles along like Twilight Zone and Sleepy Hollow and Smile and Event Horizon and some of that stuff. So look for more information on that coming very, very soon for 2025. But very excited to be, because I'm just a huge fan of those properties.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love all that. And then, for moving into 2025, right? Obviously, I can imagine not only are you just busy, but how do you balance being busy in your job and as much as you love it, right? I want to get out to conventions and I want to do here's my mark of lists of conventions for the year.
Yeah.
I guess. How do you balance that? Or is it let's just go for it?
I don't understand the question.
How do you balance your workload based on just coming to a show and doing the art side of your life? So you've got art and then you've got your editing.
Yeah,
so,
I don't understand the question. No, I mean.
Okay, you got me. That's good.
Yeah.
Well played.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. When you find out, tell me. I'm. I definitely. The big thing for me is I always make my work balance, like the day job stuff, that's the 9 to 5 for sure. And the art stuff and the conventions are the hobby. They're the go beyond that. Yes, it is work and I treat it very seriously, but it's the fun stuff for me. The day job's the day job, and this is the fun stuff for me, getting out to see people and interact with people, and drawing is my release from staring at a computer screen all day long. So yeah.
And do you do more digital or traditional?
A good mix of both. I would say about half and half, honestly. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much, Heather, for taking time. Let people know where they can find you. Editor and art.
Yeah, at Heather Antos on all the things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, double spin.